Hey y'all, it's RC00, and I just decided I wanted to come on here and talk about tier list a little bit. Now, I like to do tier lists just for the sake of doing them. I'm not really very particular about tier lists anyway, because I just play what characters I like at this point. Um, and it's not like I take UMK3 seriously as I used to do. So, anyhow, first I want to take a look at NWO's tier list. He has two separate tier lists from 2019, which makes some sense to me, being there being some gameplay differences between offline and online. However, some of this is just obscure. Nightwolf being top tier for online. I don't know about that. Katana, nah, I'd say she's top four, but good God. And Human Smoke, uh, Cabal, which online he is just absolutely absurd. Ermac being under Cabal, I could see an argument for that. And then Robo Smoke for his online. Uh, his offline is obviously Cabal first, then Human Smoke, then Kung Lao, which I would disagree with. And I'm pretty sure maybe now he would disagree with what he said. Um, Ermac, Nightwolf, Reptile, freaking uh, Kano, and freaking Robo Smoke, and freaking B tier, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Robo Smoke being under Kano makes no sense to me. Even if it was an offline situation, Kano he's good, but he's underused, and nobody's really taking him up because he's just a weird character. He has a lot of good stuff. He has a lot of potential. I feel like maybe he could be better than Reptile. All means, I'm pretty sure he could be better than Reptile. But I think he can't make it past Nightwolf because Nightwolf has a lot of rushdown options. And this game is so rushdown heavy. You can't really beat that. The only thing that keeps Nightwolf out of the S tier is the fact that he can is that excuse me, um, Ermac and Human Smoke, they have a telly so they can get out of the rush down. Sometimes it's not safe, but at that point you can just poke out. Very kind of self-explanatory at that point. And then let's take a look at this tier list from way back when. Like, this is probably very old. At first we have Human Smoke and Cabal, and I can see that. It's kind of standard. Most people say Cabal is the best. I disagree. I think Cabal gets shut down and invalidated by the Human Smoke and Ermac. Um, Kung Lao, Nightwolf, and Ermac. I feel like Kung Lao is was very highly regarded at the time that it's being made. He was a very hard character to deal with, but now you can kind of just gimp him. Nightwolf, it's hard to say because he's just all around a good character. Other than the fact that he can get gimped ridiculously, and he can be kind of read like a book at certain points. Ermac being at the bottom of A tier, I don't know because Ermac to me is like second to Human Smoke. Just because of the fact that he does have a lot of high damage combos. However, you just have to get a Teleslam, which unfortunately you can't really get that neutral. He has a lot of There's a lot of things that can be shut down, but if you get them, they're high damage. And a lot of combos, like his bread and butter combo, um, going off of his pop up. If you learn how to do the pop up right after the slam in that combo, then it can get a lot more damage. And he is very high execution, like Reptile. However, um, I guess his learning curve is not as much as Reptile, which is why he's easily more favorable to learn than Reptile. Which Reptile, for some reason, is in B tier, in the kind of low B tier. Um, Under Kano. And like I said, Kano just doesn't cut it. There's nobody that plays him at a high level. However, JDW, if I'm not mistaken, this cat has literally bodied me with this Kano. I think it's JDW. He played on MAME a few nights with him, and he's just crazy. But JDW is a crazy player. He's just awesome. Uh, I'm pretty sure there's a, I'm pretty sure guys like Turd Baby, which he's a Mississippi guy. He could probably, if he was more serious about it, he could probably do good things with Kano because he's a Kano main. But other than that, nobody even plays him as like a secondary or an extra. I don't get it. I guess there's just not a lot of appeal to him. Katana, Katana is number 4 in my opinion because she has, like I said, she has a lot of options. She has good rush down, and it's very hard to invalidate her. However, the ninjas do have not all the ninjas, but Human Smoke and Ermac have an easier time dealing with her than a lot of other folks. Uh, Reptile being in bottom of B. I think I've already talked about that kind of. Very high execution. He does have an infinite on some characters, um, but it's very highly execution based. I've only ever had, I think, 2 players that come to mind that still play today that have like infinite had performed that infinite on me, which is Biggs and freaking uh, some other guy. I forgot his tag. Then Robo Smoke being at the bottom of B. I can see it, but you can easily get people with Robo Smoke. And then the rest, C, D, and F, I'm not concerned about, cause, except other than the fact, why is Jack, Sindel, Sonya um, in the C tier, mid tier? I don't get it. It makes no sense to me. Sonya is pretty good. Rush down. Sindel, she's not necessarily the best, but she has a lot of good tools. And Jax is high damage and very good rush down. I'd say better than Kano and Kung Lao. Um, yeah. And then Melina, uh, I it's hard to say because I've heard decent arguments about why Melina is possibly top 8, but then again, I just disagree because she gets invalidated by a lot of stuff, so she's just not good. Um, I, it's like this. Okay, her role does give her some okay combos. They're okay, and then her corner combos are like no better than like Ermax you jump in with a kick, low punch, slam, uh, air kick, roundhouse, low kick. Like that corner combo is like 40%, if not 50, if I remember correctly. And I'm thinking, well, it's no better than that, but in what situation would you be able to just jump in and kick in? And then her roll combo in the corner is also not that great. You roll and you kick and then you throw the sides in the air. I'm thinking that's not great. There's nothing spectacular about that. That's just standard. That's no better than Kano. No better than Robo. And definitely not better than Jax, because the Jax in the corner is just crazy. You can just rack up damage. It doesn't even have to be a true combo. And you can just rack it up and rack it up. So, again, I digress. But I just don't see her being any higher than maybe mid tier. Let's go back to NWO to see where he has Melina. Melina, C tier, for offline, and then for online, she's an A, which makes no sense. Over Kung Lao, online makes no sense. Over Reptile online also makes no sense. Over freaking Kano makes no sense. Another thing I'll touch on real quick before we look at my tier list for 2022. Shiva. Now, I do agree she is the worst character in the game. There is probably maybe some three small things you could change to make her actually decent. You can make her faster, you can fix her hitbox when she's crouching, and there was another thing. Uh, she's faster, uh, hitbox, and then you just give her a little more damage, and she's like A plus. She is A plus character at that point, but she's slow. She's very hard to get much damage off of because she is an absolute unit with a lot of people in the right hands. I used to main her for a little while, but then I quit because I said, you know, this ain't that fun because she does get easily shut down by almost everybody. And you can basically do instant errors with Cabal and you can spam them, even though I don't like that. But it's a thing where you do instant airs with Cabal, and she is just invalidated completely. She cannot move, she cannot jump, she cannot do anything. So that leads me up to my tier list. So let's go tier by tier because some of this I might actually change my mind just thinking about it. So at first you got Human Smoke, Ermac, and Cabal. Human Smoke, I do believe he is the best. Um, over Ermac and Cabal because he invalidates Cabal. Instant airs. Um, it's also very easy for Cabal to. You can easily bait Cabal into a spin, even though his spin is really good. It is easy to read. I, I know a lot of players somehow fail to. It's not as much as you can react to it, but it's very easy to kind of see like when you're approaching and he all of a sudden does a spin, it can be invalidated because a lot of cabals are accustomed to just spinning upon somebody trying to rush in because they're not blocking and they're not thinking. But if you think about it and you play slow, then cabal is not that hard to play against. And then Ermac, he has a lot of good damage off the slams. He has 100% in the corner. Um, and it's kind of easy to bait one out. Uh, then Cabal, uh, like I said, I can easily be invalidated. He does have instant airs, projectiles that you can spam, and they can be low enough to where it can hit a lot of certain characters. But the only thing is, I just don't believe that it is the do all say all. Then we got Katana in the first spot of A tier. Um, like I said, she has a lot of good options rushing in. She might not have a pop up, but she does have a lot of options to shut people down. And then we have Robo Smoke. Um, his invisibility, along with just a lot of good, has the spear. It's just hard to play him, um, or play against him. I'll say that because with the invisibility, you just don't know, and you'll be tempted to throw out a move, and then you throw out the wrong move, and it's over. And his gets you in the air with his teleport punch and the kick into the throw. That's a lot of high damage. Then we have Nightwolf, good rush down, he shuts you down. I do believe he is better than Kung Lao, but Kung Lao is better than Sonya. I do believe this because, I mean, Sonya does have a lot of good options in rush down. He has a command grab, this, that, and the other. But Kung Lao, he has an infinite in the corner. It's easy to get. He's just a very easy character to pick up and do a lot of infinites. His spin, it's very easy to run into. Um, However, I do believe that a lot of players like to throw out a spin, thinking that people will just unknowingly run into it. And some people will. Some people will just run into a spin and not think about it. But with Ermac and Smoke and Cabal, no Cabal players that are just starting out will spin into it and get hit. But a lot of players can just sweep it, and that will lead to a rush down. Uh, and he he's easy to pick up, kind of hard to master, if that's kind of the best way to put it. Because like guys like Summoning, he's a good Kunlun. He has a good ass Kunlun, but it is easy to invalidate a lot of his options. Sonya um, just kind of doesn't meet up to those expectations as much as uh, Kung Lao does, and that's just how it rolls, um, at least in my mind. And then up next is Reptile. Like I've said this whole freaking video, very high execution, heavy. He has the potential in certain people's hands to be better than Robo Smoke. Um, he would just suffer a lot from Nightwolf and Kung Lao in certain people's hands because Reptile is hard to get those infinites just off the bat. Um, Even online and offline, certain characters can't even do it on, so it doesn't matter. So folks like Shiva that have the very awkward hitbox, it's very hard to get anything off her. Except, but his pressure game is really good. He does have that dash that is kind of hard to feel out. Used at sporadic times, and that's why he's kind of where I cut it off between the A tier because at the B tier, Jax has a big old hitbox, can be comboed easily by all the ninjas, all the things that I would say it's easier to combo Jax than it is to combo any of the ninjas that are universal. Up next is Kano, like I've said. Could be a lot better. Um, could be on up there with Kung Lao. If only somebody would come along and master him and show us how it's done. Because he has all those good options, all those His combos are decently execution heavy. I'll say that. Some of them I can't do myself. mainly because I have not put in the time or the effort, but I know there's somebody out there that can put out that time and effort. And up next, Unmasked Sub. I do believe he is above Sindel, Striker, Melina, Scorpion, and Sub Zero for the very reasons that he has a lot of zoning options. He might not have high damage, but his zoning options and his pressure options are very good. Sindel can be easily gimped. Striker can be gimped. Melina, I've probably talked about it before, but I do put her a little higher. Do put her in that mid tier, mid low tier. Like I said, I do not believe she is any higher than probably Sindel or Sub Zero. Um, Up next, we got Scorpion and Unmasked. I do believe they're kind of your middle people. I believe kind of Scorpion is kind of like he is a useless character. I just don't get why anybody plays him. I know that Truku plays him, and he still manages to take games to Scorpion, but to me, it doesn't make a ton of sense. And Sub Zero, he's kind of like he's not necessarily a gimp kind of character. He is very highly execution heavy character, but there's not a whole lot of damage just off that. He does have a ground freeze, which in rushdown is very useful if your opponent is just very hesitant. But other than that, just doesn't have all the useful tools compared to everyone above him. And I do believe Melina is better than Sub. I'll say that much, Biggs. Liu Kang, he's like he's easy character picked up, but he just doesn't have good tools. Jade, only way she's actually good is maybe by her spacing options, but that's about it. Sector and Cyrax. I do believe Sector's better than Cyrax, and Cyrax is very just very situation based. I guess I really don't know because I don't play Cyrax. Is like seriously. I played Sector seriously for a while. But I quickly switched mains after that because I saw human smoke being more appealing, and I saw Ermac later on being more appealing to me and to how I play. I like to play very aggressively, just glass cannon uh, kind of play style. You rush in and hope for the best. Sometimes it gets shut down, sometimes it don't. And then next up is Shang Tsung. Shang Tsung, excuse me. He has, with his transformations, he can do a lot of crazy things. I do believe that. But Shang Tsung by himself is not that great. All of his projectiles are just weird. Uh, if you're on two opposite sides of the screen, then he does have a lot of good options to keep you away. Unless you have a teleport, then it doesn't really matter because you're just getting validated. And then Shiva, I've talked about her before. She's not that great. Um, those big things about just getting shut down while somebody else is rushing you down, and instant air is basically shutting you down, so you can't really do anything no matter what. In a game that's so rush down heavy, you just ain't gonna make it, you ain't gonna cut it. But when she does get rushed down, much like Shang Tsung and Cyrax and Sector, and all the low tiers, when they have the opportunity to get rushed down, they're very they have a lot of good options during rush down. I believe all these characters. but it's more favorable to the high tiers more so to the low tiers. But I do believe she does have her I forgot what the actual special was called, but her stomp does give a lot of unpredictability, even though it can just be easily gimped. Some players just some players don't expect it, and even high level players sometimes don't expect it. And it's, I believe, maybe if she was a little faster and her hitbox wasn't as janky as it is now, she would be a decent character, much like she is in later installments. But then again, uh, she just doesn't make the cut. Uh, and before I go, I don't remember. Let's see, I don't think I went over here. But I'm gonna look at bigs and I'm gonna see what all is different. So Katana being number 4, me and him agree with. I don't agree with Sonya being above Nightwolf, Reptile, yeah, Melina. Obviously, I don't. I can see where he's coming from with Reptile being better than Robo Smoke. Kung Lao, sure. Reptile. Wait, no. What am I saying? Kano, Jack, Sindel, yeah. Scorpion being better than Unmasked and Masked. Sub-Zero, no. That makes no sense. Striker being that low, I can see that. Jade's Shang Tsung being higher than Sector and Cyrax makes no sense. Liu Kang, okay. Yeah, I forgot to do that at the beginning of the video, but I'm just not going to do it. But yeah, if you have any questions, any comments, or anything to say about this tier list, please do, because you're not going to hurt my feelings. I'm sorry, I don't have feelings and whatnot. Uh, yeah, I know it's been a while since I uploaded. I've been busy with school. Uh, Spent a lot of time at school, and because it's almost like I'm spending like 12 hours at school. But now I'm off for like a week, so I ought to be uploading a little something throughout the week. And that's all. I will see y'all next time or whatever. All right, peace out.